All right, strap in, everybody. Today, we're diving into the deep end of fitness influencers, and this one, well, this one's got a lot of layers. We're talking Brittany Dawn,
Oh, yeah, that name's everywhere.
and our listeners definitely want to know, is she legit?
Right. Visionary or something else. Because you guys sent in a ton of stuff, articles, social media posts.
A mountain of it.
Yeah, clearly you're all trying to figure her out.
Absolutely. So for anyone not already in the loop, Brittany built this whole empire around fitness. Started with sharing her recovery from an eating disorder.
Seems so relatable. People love that.
Oh yeah, they flocked to her. And that's what she built her business on, right?
Yeah, personalized fitness plans, nutrition stuff, charging like $92 to $300. Promised it was all customized, you'd get support, the whole 9 yards.
But she played up the eating disorder recovery a lot, didn't she? Even calls herself, what was it?
Eating disorder soldier.
Yeah. Which, I mean, resonated with her audience. A lot of them struggling with the same things.
Huge ethical gray area there. On one hand, sharing your story can be empowering, right? Hope, community, all that. But using it as marketing to, let's be honest, a vulnerable group.
It makes you wonder, was it exploitation for profit?
Hard to say for sure, but then you have the complaints starting around 2019.
Yeah, the people who paid hundreds of dollars.
Saying the plans were generic, cookie cutter stuff, not personalized at all, like she promised.
Not a good look.
And worse, some people said they got, like, zero support. Or she just ghosted them after they paid, ignoring people who are looking for help, especially when they've paid you. That's bad.
Really bad. And it gets even more concerning. Some customers with eating disorders in their past said the plans she gave them were dangerous.
Yeah, one customer, Kenzie and Dino, she told WFAA they gave her a diet with only 900 calories a day.
900?
Even though she'd told Brittany about her history with the eating disorder.
Oh, wow. 900 calories is barely enough for, like, basic survival, let alone a healthy fitness plan.
Right, and it wasn't just a couple of people complaining. This got big. The Texas Attorney General's office, they actually filed a lawsuit against her company, Brittany Dawn Fitness LLC,
Oh.
saying it was deceptive, that she was misleading customers. The whole lawsuit really made things look bad for her. Said some customers got just one generic email, no real help. Others ignored after a few weeks. And get this, they even said she only offered partial refunds if people signed NDAs.
So that carefully built image was starting to crumble, huh? How'd she react to all this pressure?
Well, at first she apologized publicly, said she jumped into an industry that had no instructional manual.
Sounds a little like she's trying to dodge blame, you know? Like she was clueless and just got caught up in it all.
Yeah, especially considering who her target audience was and the potential harm there. Should she even have been offering these services if she wasn't ready to do it right? To be safe and responsible? It's a valid question.
Totally. So apology done, what next? Did she, like, address the specific accusations, try to make things right with the people who were upset?
So this is where things take another turn. She went quiet on social media for a bit, then reappeared with a whole new image. Shifted away from fitness completely. Now it's all Christian content.
Wow. From eating disorder soldier to, what, spiritual guide?
Basically, yeah. Started She Lives Freed, doing religious retreats and conferences. People had a lot to say about that. Some thought it was genuine, a personal growth thing, connecting with people differently.
And another.
Saw it as running away from the mess she made, using a new audience to rebuild, maybe one that's more likely to forgive.
It's bold, I'll give her that, especially the timing. Hard not to wonder what her real motivation was. True spiritual awakening or damage control, rebranding.
Or both. Who knows? And that's what makes this case so interesting. This whole influencer culture, it's a blur between being real, wanting to get ahead, and chasing money. Was Brittany Dawn a good person who messed up, or was she lying to people to get rich?
Or is it somewhere in between, right? Good intentions gone wrong, mixed with bad decisions and loving the spotlight.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to untangle here. We'll look at the lawsuit, the fallout of what she did, the whole rebranding thing, all to try and answer that question. Grifter or gifted?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because you have this whole, like, be strong message, overcoming struggles, and that's powerful, for sure. But then there's this other side, the claims that she was lying and putting people at risk. How do you even begin to make sense of that?
It's the whole influencer thing in a nutshell, right? They create this image, and it taps into what people want, what they're afraid of, what they dream of, and it becomes really hard to tell what's genuine and what's like a calculated act.
It's that whole fake it till you make it idea, but gone way too far. Except in this case, faking it might have meant real harm to people.
Well,
And that's not okay.
no, not at all. And it makes you think about the bigger picture with influencers, the difference between actual expertise and just acting like an expert. It's so hard to know who's really qualifies and who's just good at marketing themselves.
Especially with fitness and food. Those are areas where bad advice can really hurt people.
Definitely. So, about the lawsuit, the Texas Attorney General's office, it all ended in a settlement in 2023.
Okay.
Brittany agreed to pay $400,000. Didn't admit she did anything wrong, though.
Oof, that's a lot of money. But doesn't really feel like she's taking responsibility, does it?
Yeah, that's what some people are saying. One of her customers, Corey Real, she spoke out saying real justice would mean Brittany actually admitting what she did and doing something so it doesn't happen again.
So the fine, that's legal, but the ethical side, the moral side, that's not addressed just by paying.
Exactly. We need to look beyond just the legal consequences. Like, how did influencer culture even get to this point where they have so much power, so much influence, and almost no one's watching over them, holding them accountable?
It's like the Wild West out there for influencers.
Yeah.
No rules, everything's changing all the time. It's a mix of entertainment, selling stuff, and, well, basic decency.
That's a perfect way to put it. Which means we as consumers need to be more aware, think more critically about all this.
So how do we do that? How do we become smarter consumers in this online world where everyone's trying to get our attention, our money?
First, I think remembering that influencers, at the end of the day, they're businesses. Their goal is to make money, to sell things. And that can clash with actually wanting to help their followers or be honest with them.
Don't just trust someone because they've got tons of followers or seem really charismatic, right?
Exactly. Do your homework, look for real information, stuff that's backed up by science, by experts, and watch out for anyone pushing quick fixes, easy solutions, especially when it comes to health and wellness.
Because if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly. And don't just listen to one person, one influencer. Get different viewpoints, read articles, talk to professionals, and then form your own opinions.
Basically, don't put all your trust in one person, especially for big decisions about your health, your money, your life, really.
Right on. And with money, always think about why an influencer is promoting something. A lot of times they're getting paid to do it, and that can affect what they say and recommend.
So assume there's always a financial angle, that behind the scenes, someone's getting paid. And that can make the information less trustworthy.
It can. Doesn't mean all sponsored stuff is bad or a lie, but you got to know what's happening and keep that in mind when you're deciding whether to believe what they're saying.
Be a critical consumer, understand the game, and make decisions based on what you need, what's important to you.
Absolutely. Now, the platforms themselves, they've got a job to do too, right? Make things more transparent, hold people accountable, keep users safe. They should clearly label sponsored content, make sure anyone giving professional advice is actually qualified, and give us ways to report anything fishy or harmful.
So they're responsible for protecting their users, giving us ways to report problems, and doing something about influencers who lie or are dangerous.
Exactly. In the end, I think it's about a change in how we all think, consumers and influencers both. We can't just blindly trust and accept everything we see online anymore. We have to be more critical, more discerning.
So we need to be media literate, know how to analyze what we see, judge it, question it.
Yes. And the influencer community, they need to start being more responsible, more accountable for what they do.
Influencers need to realize they have power, that what they say and do affects people. They have to think about the ethics of their choices.
Absolutely. The good news is, I think things are starting to change for the better. More influencers are calling out bad behavior, pushing for honesty, using their platforms to promote responsible content.
That's good to hear. Sounds like the industry is waking up to these issues, realizing they need some rules, some accountability.
Exactly. And we as consumers, we can help make this happen. Support the good guys, call out the bad behavior, and hold both the influencers and the platforms responsible for what they do.
So speak up, make good choices, and demand a better, more ethical influencer world.
Exactly. Which brings us back to Brittany Dawn. Her story, messy as it is, it teaches us a lot about influencer culture, the good and the bad. It shows how important it is to think for ourselves, to demand honesty, and to realize that online, it's not always clear what's real and what's fake, what's genuine and what's just an act.
It reminds us that we all play a part in creating a better online world. One where real connection and doing good matters more than getting famous fast or making a quick buck.
Beautifully said. As we keep looking at these influential but controversial figures, remember to ask yourself, are they trying to make a real difference or just using trends and emotions to get ahead?
It's got to be everyone working together, right? The influencers, the people following them, and the platforms like Instagram, TikTok, all of them. They all got to step up.
Oh, for sure. Shared responsibility, that's key. Consumers need to be smart, do their homework. Influencers, they got to be honest, upfront. And the platforms, they got to make sure things are fair, people are safe.
Okay, so let's break it down. Us as regular people online, how do we get smarter about all this influencer stuff?
Well, I'd say, first off, don't believe everything you see. Easy to forget, but these influencers, they're showing you what they want you to see. It's all curated, and often the goal is to sell you something.
So be skeptical. Don't just take their word for it.
Yeah, exactly. Question everything. Do some digging. Look beyond the perfect pictures and the happy smiles, and be careful of anyone promising miracles, especially when it comes to health, money, that kind of thing. Big red flag.
Right, because no one has all the answers.
Yeah,
And there's no easy way to get rich or lose weight or whatever, no matter what they say.
exactly. And don't just rely on one person for info. Get different viewpoints, read articles, talk to real experts, then decide what you think.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, like you said. Not when it comes to big decisions.
Right. And always remember, money talks in this world. Influencers get paid to promote stuff. So that affects what they tell you, what they recommend.
So even if they don't say it outright,
Hmm.
assume there's some kind of money deal behind most of what you see online, and that can make what they're saying less trustworthy.
Yeah, just something to be aware of. Doesn't mean all sponsored content is bad, but you got to factor it in, you know?
Be a savvy shopper, online and off.
Exactly. Now, about those platforms, they have a beauty to keep things honest and protect people. Clearly label ads, verify credentials, make sure health coaches are actually certified, and they need easy ways for us to report problems.
So it's on them to keep things safe, give us tools to report bad stuff, and to take action against influencers who are, scamming or hurting people.
Yep, that's the idea. But bigger picture, I think we need a mindset shift, both us as consumers and the influencers themselves. No more blind trust. We got to be more critical about everything we see online.
So being more media literate, right?
Yeah.
Knowing how to analyze, judge, question what we see online.
Exactly. And the influencer world, they got to step up their ethics game.
Yeah, influencers need to realize the power they have, how they can affect people, and be responsible.
Absolutely. The good news is I do see some positive changes. Some influencers are calling out bad behavior, pushing for honesty, and using their platforms the right way.
That's good to hear. Like the industry's starting to clean up its act, maybe realizing they need some rules, and to be more responsible.
Yeah, I think so, and we can help with that. Support the good ones, call out the bad ones, hold them all accountable, both the influencers and the companies behind the platforms.
Use our voices, make smart choices, and demand a better, more ethical influencer world. Sounds like a plan.
It is, and it all loops back to Brittany Dawn. Her story, as messed up as it is, it teaches us about influencer culture, the good and the bad. Think critically, demand honesty, and remember, online, it's hard to know what's real and what's just an act.
It's a good reminder that we're all part of this online world, and we can make it better. A place where real connections and doing the right thing are more important than getting famous fast or making a quick buck.
Couldn't have said it better myself. As we continue to look at these influential but kinda controversial people, always ask yourself, are they really trying to make the world better, or are they just using us to get ahead?
Grifter or gifted? Not always an easy question to answer, but by talking about it, looking at the facts, and listening to different perspectives, we can figure it out. Thanks for going deep with us today, and until next time, keep that curiosity alive, keep asking questions, deep divers.